Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I want to talk about, finally, we got to Star Wars, The Clone Wars Season 7. I gotta say, wow, that was fantastic. So if you're new here and you didn't see the title by any chance, I just want to give you a heads up. This contains major spoilers for the final season of Star Wars. I'm just going to talk about what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and surprisingly, I've really been consistent with liking pretty much everything that The Clone Wars has put out, but there was a little bit like episodes in this season where I was like, I didn't really like it too much. But oh my god, man. Oh my god, that ending was absolutely phenomenal. We'll touch on that. So we're going to start off with the season. Of course, I don't know how long this video is going to be because this season is incredibly short. I don't know the history behind it. It was like canceled or something like that. Regardless, we start off with the episodes about the Bad Batch. And I think there's a movie or a TV series coming out about the Bad Batch. Regardless, it was pretty cool to see them. I don't really have too much to say about them. It's just like clone troopers realizing that they're like different from clones. They want to be different. They have their own identity and they just like take care of things way differently. And it was cool seeing like Rex and who was lost. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with all the Star Wars names, but somebody was lost and they were searching for him. It was like, I want to say it was Echo. Regardless, it was cool to see like the separatists torturing him and he became his own guy. And then afterwards, he joined the Bad Batch because he's not a clone like the regular people. And it was just fun seeing the Bad Batch take on different guys. And it was just, it made for a different approach to fighting instead of just watching like lightsabers. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just watching lightsabers and watching the clone troopers do things, shooting everywhere. It's just like these guys are having fun. They don't like they do things really weird. And it's just the Bad Batch was refreshing to watch as clones. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure about them at first, but it was really cool. It was some interesting episodes. Now moving on after that, I was very excited because we move on and we finally got Ahsoka back. I was not sure if we were going to see Ahsoka again in Star Wars because again, if you watch my other videos on this, at the ending with her and Anakin, I wasn't too sure if I was like, I didn't think it was the end of Ahsoka, but I was open to the possibility of that being her last episode because I know, as we all know, she isn't in the future of Star Wars. You know what I mean? She's just a character that was made up for the Clone Wars. So I was like, you know what? Maybe just her leaving the Jedi was the end of her story, and she didn't come out at all in season 6. So I was like, maybe it really is done. I didn't want to see Ahsoka leave, but man, she's back. And unfortunately, and my buddy gave me a heads up on this because one of my friends is really, really into Star Wars, really into the Clone Wars. And he's like, you just have to get through these episodes. Trust me, the season ends as an absolute banger. And I was like, okay, how bad can it really be? Because I've been enjoying the Clone Wars. Like, there was nothing that I really disliked. I apologize if you could just hear my phone there going off. I just cut the video. Anyways, so Ahsoka's back. That was really nice to see her back, but I did not like Rafa and the other girl. It did not find them appealing. And I don't know. It just wasn't fun. I didn't like them as characters. Both of them were incredibly unlikable. They were like, I can do this. And then they just went and then they couldn't do it. But then they kind of did it. It doesn't really make sense. But it's just like, I didn't like these girls. Like, they were tough and just wanted to do stuff. And Ahsoka was just so much better than them. I like Ahsoka as a character. Ahsoka fits. But man, like, pairing her up with those girls just didn't work. I didn't like it. And I understand why those episodes are notoriously hated for Clone Wars. And I was told this. I didn't know this, but I was told this by my friend before I watched it. I was like, yeah, I get it. I get it. It was a little bit of a drag to get through, but man, the next episodes, they are absolute bangers. Also, the same friend, he told me that Darth Maul doesn't come back because of something. I don't remember the whole reason that he was talking about. He was like, you know, the Clone Wars was canceled and Disney bought it and all that, so they didn't continue the Darth Maul storyline. I was like, are you kidding me? I've been waiting for him to come back for like two whole seasons now, and he's not coming back. They just brought back one of the most enticing characters and made for one of the most interesting storylines I've seen in Star Wars in a long time, and then I was so hyped to see him come back. I was so hyped because at first, I didn't expect it. I thought it was done. I thought they'd just abandoned the storyline, and that's how it's going to end. It was absolutely phenomenal. So there's a lot to unpack here, and I don't want to miss anything I'm going to talk about, but I want to talk about, but I feel like I'm going to miss something. Regardless, I'll just talk about what I liked, and I have absolutely nothing that I didn't like about this Darth Maul storyline. I think he's fantastic the way they handled the character. Wants to overthrow the Sith, has his own he has his own agenda, and he's being his own character. You know what I mean? He's not just your big baddie guy. He has like his own mind. He's thinking about it. He's just a very well flushed out character. It's just completely different from when we saw him at the beginning of Star Wars. You know what I mean? So anyways, they come in. Ahsoka wants to attack Maul. They want to get him. They know where he is. They know the location. You know what I mean? She was with the Death Watcher girl, and Darth Maul. They want to get Darth Maul. Excuse me. I apologize there. I probably repeated myself. Ahsoka goes to the Jedi for help. Anakin is very happy to see her, and Ahsoka is just being a massive a-hole. Like, I'm like, this guy, after everything that he did for you, after all the values that he instilled on you, after he helped you, after he took you on as his Padawan, you're treating him like this. And she's like, hi, Master. Hi. Yeah, we have Maul. And it's like, show some respect for Anakin. He was so happy to see, and you could see it in his eyeballs too. You could see how happy he was to see Ahsoka, and she was just treating him like garbage. I did not like that at all, but that's the whole point of it, right, is to have a really, really sad ending for Star Wars. It's just like, Ahsoka, why you do that? I love Ahsoka. I love Anakin. I love the relationship, and she's just doing that to him. Anakin was the only one who believed in her, man. Like, anyways, I understand her disdain for the Jedi, but you get the point. So they end up working together. Anakin gives her a gift, gives her the lightsaber. She still doesn't really care about it. And most importantly, Anakin dressed up the stormtroopers and had the face paint for Ahsoka, and it just had her own army to command. And that was a really, really wholesome moment. But Ahsoka's still sitting there like, this is nice, but Jedi. So after that, I'm probably missing some steps there, but they go down and hunt Darth Maul, and it's just Ahsoka, and I did not expect that. I thought it was going to be Anakin and Obi-Wan. We're going to get into it where eventually Darth Maul's like, I wanted Skywalker. I wanted Kenobi. You know what I mean? Why are you here? But it was so cool. They found Darth Maul in the sewers, and that was so tense because we knew Maul was down there and we knew Ahsoka. I personally didn't think Ahsoka was going to be able to handle Maul. I guess I just underestimated Ahsoka's power, right? But so she was rolling down those sewers, and they were getting attacked, but I was just waiting for Maul to come out. And Maul, this is where I like him. He's such a really cool villain because Maul, not captured her, but had her surrounded, and he just came out, just arms behind his back or however he was positioned. He's like, interesting that you're here. You know what I mean? I just absolutely love him as a character. One of my favorite villains of all time at this point. Clone Wars just completely won me over to Maul, and it's incredible. So they started fighting. I don't remember exactly what happened when they made their way up to the surface. She might have escaped, but then she ended up in the tower with Darth Maul, and that's where the final duel came in. And this is where I was thinking, I have no idea what's going to happen. Actually, that's not, I was thinking that pretty much the whole time, but as soon as Ahsoka and Darth Maul started facing off their final duel, she was like, hey, Death Watcher girl, get out of here. I got this. Go help your people. Darth Maul and her had the final duel, and I was like, no, man, no, Ahsoka's actually going to die. She's not going to have a happy ending, and this is exactly what I predicted. If you watch my other videos, I predicted this exactly. I was like, Ahsoka's going to have a horrible, horrible death by Darth Maul because she is not part of the Star Wars movies afterwards. You know what I mean? So I was like, no, this is it. But then she ended up winning. She ended up just fighting back, and Maul was trying to convince her to join the Darth side. He was like, and then, this is another thing. I just completely left off the whole parts of the ship. What am I doing? Or was that after? I'm not remembering the timeline, guys. I'm so sorry. There's just so much that I'm excited about and so many cool things to talk about where it's like, okay, there was a whole part where I just figured out where I was like, oh my God, we're in Revenge of the Sith right now. And I did not expect that. I thought this was going to be the whole part before Revenge of the Sith. And so Anakin was Darth Vader at this point. Anakin already had the duel with Obi-Wan because Maul was like, or Obi-Wan was talking to Ahsoka, and he was like, yeah, Anakin cut off Count Dooku's head. And I was like, what? And that's when I figured it out, when Obi-Wan was talking to Ahsoka, because Ahsoka wanted Anakin or something like that. I apologize. I'm not remembering the full details of everything, but I was like, okay, we're in Revenge of the Sith right now. She's not going to get to say goodbye to Anakin. She's going to die to Darth Maul. That's what I was thinking. But then Ahsoka ended up actually winning against Darth Maul. And Darth Maul, he was like, that voice actor is fantastic, by the way. The voice actor for Darth Maul. They had their fantastic duel, and they were just fighting. I know I'm bouncing around the timeline here, guys. I understand that it's not exact. I just, like I said, I have a lot to say, and it's just, I don't know the exact timeline for it. They had their awesome duel, and Darth Maul was trying to convince her to join him, and that was very, very interesting. And Ahsoka was like, I'm not joining you, and she almost joined him at one point, and then something happened where she didn't trust him again. I kind of thought at the moment she was actually going to team up with him, and I would have actually kind of liked that storyline if her and him were to team up and take on Palpatine. That would be an amazing storyline, but we know that it can't fall like that, right? Unless Palpatine actually wins. So Ahsoka ends up getting him captured, and this is where I was talking about just a moment ago, where I was saying that the voice actor for Maul is fantastic, where he's like, you don't know what you're doing, you have no idea. And I was like, oh my God, Ahsoka actually survived, Jesus. But then they ended up in that ship, and I believe that's where the Execute Order 66 thing happened, because she was in the ship with Rex, and they were trying to escape, right? And they were trying to get away from everything, and that was a whole situation itself. Maul was still alive. Again, I apologize. I hope this is entertaining to listen to, guys. It's just, I'm getting the timeline wrong for everything. Point is, they end up on a ship after that, and Ahsoka and Rex had to kill off their clone troopers, and it was just such a touching moment when Ahsoka lifted Rex's helmet, and he was just crying. He's like, I can't put a bullet into my brothers. I can't do it. I can't do it. And then they just ended up not being clones because he had his own chip removed. That's the only reason that he wasn't attacking Ahsoka, but originally he was attacking Ahsoka, and it was just very, very heartbreaking. So they got on the ship, and I was like, oh my God, they're not going to make it out of this. There's debris everywhere. They're getting pulled into the planet. This isn't going to work out for Ahsoka, because I was expecting Ahsoka to die this entire time. But then there was this really, really badass scene where Rex was flying the plane or the ship or whatever it was, and Ahsoka was running across, dodging everything, tried to get in the seat, couldn't, tried to get in the seat, couldn't, but then she ended up actually in the seat, and then they ended up crash landing, which is still insane. I was like, okay, now Ahsoka's gonna die. There's no way they're gonna make it out of this. But then they have all of their so obviously they survived. They got down to the planet, right? Everything's okay. Well, not necessarily everything's okay. I meant everything's okay for Ahsoka. Like, her life is together. You know what I mean? But then she had to bury all of the stormtroopers, and that was a very, very sad scene, especially because like of what just happened. You know what I mean? They had to kill so many of them, and this war, like, they did so many good things, and they just ended up getting brainwashed and not being themselves. Ahsoka had to bury them all, and that was a very touching moment. The music, by the way, the music was absolutely fantastic. And my friend, after, he sent me a video of, he was waiting for me to finish the series so he could send me that video where it was just the sound of the Clone Wars ending theme, and it just breaks your heart listening to him. Like, yeah, I get it. So Ahsoka lives, which I did not expect one bit. I did not expect Ahsoka to live through this series, and I guess now it makes sense because coincidentally, when I'm finishing this, Ahsoka gets her own TV series, right? Like I said, my point is Ahsoka lived through it. I did not expect it, and then she walked off. She dropped her lightsaber, but then the series, and I wish they would have been a little bit longer. I understand that they were on time constraints and they were only able to push out like so many episodes for the Clone Wars, you know what I mean? So especially the last season, I wish they would have flushed this whole thing out more and maybe even made a movie on Maul, to be honest with you. Like, they could have stretched all of that out, but regardless, that last scene of Darth Vader, Anakin, and I didn't notice this touch at the beginning, but I was watching some other Clone Wars videos and they were saying you could see Anakin's eyes through the Darth Vader mask. I haven't looked back on that, or if that was a touch that people wish that happened. I don't know for sure, but if that happened, I didn't notice, and that's very, very touching. He knew it was Ahsoka's lightsaber that he gave to him, and that was all I have to say is about it is it's absolutely heartbreaking because of all the things we know that Anakin and Vader did. He never got his closure with Ahsoka. They never got to say goodbye. Ahsoka was just treating him like crap. The Jedi treated her like crap. Just the whole relationship was completely rocky, and they didn't have their happy ending together. No matter what happened, it's a good ending for a story, man. It's a really good ending, but my heart hurts in the sense where I wish that they could have had a good ending. Does that make sense? It's perfect for the story, made for a fantastic ending, but I hate it. You know what I mean? In that sense, it was such a good ending. But like I said, my only critique for the ending is they could have done it a little bit longer. Like, imagine this being a 21 episode season. That would have been fantastic. 22 episodes. They could have stretched out that story. It would have been great. It would have been absolutely fantastic. Maybe she could have teamed up with Darth Maul for a little bit. I don't know. Regardless, I truthfully don't have any complaints. That's just, I'm trying to nitpick a little bit besides those episodes with like Rafa and that other chick, you know what I mean? But guys, I would love to know what you think down below. I don't know what I'm going to watch next. Maybe Tales of the Jedi. I really, really enjoyed the Clone Wars. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and it ended off perfect. And that was actually my favorite Star Wars content that I've ever consumed. Those last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars, or last 5, whatever the last episodes with Maul, that was my favorite Star Wars content that I've ever consumed. And I don't think that anything that gets pushed out again from Star Wars or Lucasfilm or whoever makes it, or Disney, I don't think they're ever going to beat the Clone Wars. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And this is where I'll leave it up to you guys down below. What did you think about the Clone Wars Season 7? What did you think about the Clone Wars in general? If you watch all my videos, I appreciate you coming through it with me. And I know I skipped a few seasons, but it was a little bit in the back of my mind. I just finished Season 7. It's fresh. You know what I mean? So like I said, let me know what you think down below, guys. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new here and you enjoy the content, please consider the like button, help the channel a ton, subscribe if you're brand new. Check the description down below for links to all of my other channels. And if you'd like to see more talk about movies, TV shows, anything like that, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching again, everybody. I will see you in the next video. Take care.